Welcome to my FAQ number 143. Gonna answer your questions to best of my ability. Yeah. What's up? What's up, everyone, and welcome to FAQ 143. Welcome. I forgot my computer out there. F me. Alright, holy shit. I have my computer, I have my water, everything's just looking fucking snazzy as hell today. Look at this. I have this set up, I don't even know why. But yes, it is time for FAQ. I hope you guys are good. I'm gonna answer some of your awesome questions, and I'm gonna give you my most awesome answers, okay? Cotton Ball rocks. When you visited Dimebag's house and went through his guitars, which one do you want to own from his collection? Now, I think the most obvious choice would be to pick the Dean from Hell, but at the same time, that guitar deserves to be like a museum piece or something like that. So, but if I couldn't pick that one, you know, maybe the original Dime Slime, you know, with the Volkswagen sticker on it. I think maybe that would be the guitar that I would pick out of all of them there, basically. But I mean, even the Washburn with the Volkswagen logo, they're all a piece of, you know, history. And, you know, I don't think anyone should be able to own them other than the Dimebag estate. And, you know, maybe it would be a good idea to have them in a museum of some sort, so people can watch and enjoy them themselves. But obviously, if it was a thing that I would get to pick something, it would most definitely be the Dean from Hell, because it's so cool. You saw on that guitar, it had been used like a shit ton, and even had that thumb spot down at the bottom where he rested his thumb to play leads. It's like, I mean, come on. How cool is that? But yeah, I think all of them belongs in a museum, basically. That's my opinion right there. Thank you for the question, though. Spectre Sound Studios. Fuck you, Glenn. No, it's Glenn Fricker. What's up, buddy? Thank you so much for the question. And the question is, how many cameras are you using, and are you live switching or going through editing hell? Okay, that's a great question. I am using multiple cameras when I'm filming my stuff, right? So at this point, I'm having 3 of them right here, one there, and one there. Let's see if I can capture this in a good way. I'm gonna open up Final Cut Pro. That's the app that I'm using. So what happens when I import all of these files is that I have, you know, for this Willet Chug I have here, I have 4 different camera angles, right? And I load them up in a multi-clip, and with the multi-clip, you can just sync the files together with audio, so I don't have to do any syncing at all. I just pick the video files like this, choose new multicam clip, and that's it, basically. So what I'm doing when I'm sitting and editing is that while I'm editing, I'm just sitting with my hand on the 1, 2, 3, 4, which is basically the different angles or the different video angles. So as I'm rolling through here, check this out.
And then you have a switch here for mid-frequency.
I can just switch the angle like this.
Different mid-frequencies if you want. So right now it's on, what is it?
And it does it on the fly. So it doesn't actually take that much time to sit and camera edit a video like this. I just sit and do it on the fly, basically. So that's the best way and approach that I've found of making these videos. Hope that helped, Glenn. Thank you. Ahakna kontnanko. Ahakna kontnanko. Hello, Ola. Cyrillic Slayer, by the way. Hello, Ola. Here's a question for the next FAQ. Do you ever think about how you're going to perform on stage? Like, how are you going to move, etc.? Do you practice headbanging or anything? Because I feel like moving on stage is a whole different topic. Well, this is an excellent question that I don't think a lot of people are bringing up, because maybe it's taboo to talk about how you move on stage or whatever. But this is Ola's FAQ. I don't give a shit. Let's just talk about it. The only time I've actually practiced or like done headbanging was when I was a kid, you know, and, you know, a teenager practicing my guitar, and I thought it was cool and all that. But I never actually practiced it. It's just something I've learned along the way. I've been doing a lot of shows for the past 20 years. And, you know, you kind of find yourself and the way you work with your headbanging and, you know, what works for you. I, for one, cannot do like windmills or anything like that, because that just makes me overly dizzy. So I never do that. Most of the times I'm just, you know, nodding my head back and forth. And the cool thing and the good thing about having long hair is that, you know, you don't really have to move that much to make it flow. Like, you know, there's not really that much torque there. on my neck. But if you're sporting like the egghead look, you know, you have to mosh way more to make it look cool. So the long hair definitely saves your neck a little bit, in my opinion. So yeah, it's not something I've been practicing, it's just something that has been developing throughout the years, where on stage as I've been trying out different things. And you know, nowadays I'm just a little bit careful. You know, I want to protect my neck and my shoulders and all that, and I just don't want to hurt myself. It's very important that you stretch before you go on stage. That's something I do as well. Just regular neck stretching. I can do a little bit of this, you know, a little bit of this. You know, I stretch my arms back and forth, and you know, do some real stretching of your upper back area and your neck, and you're probably going to be fine. This one is a good stretch. Just move your head back and forth. Don't force it. Just move it back and forth. Just be a little careful if you're talking to someone. It seems like you're agreeing on everything they say while you're doing this, so be a little careful. Dan Frax, hey Ola, I don't know if I'm on time for a question about cabinets. I heard on an opinion from a famous Spanish music producer, pop music mostly, that there's no difference miking a 4x12 or a 1x12 because the mic in front of the speaker, and doesn't matter if the cab is bigger or smaller. I don't agree, but what do you think, my lovely Swede? Okay, that's a great question actually, and you know, to some extent he's right. The more you close mic a speaker, the further in you put a microphone into the actual speaker cone, the less the actual cab will matter. Well, the thing about guitar cabinets is that you're already getting a little bit outside the speaker because there's usually a cloth or a grill or something like that. So just by pulling the microphone a little bit out, the cabinet matters a lot more. And for my personal experience, yes, I do hear a difference between a 1x12 and a 4x12. The actual size of the cabinet and the build of the cabinet, just, you know, obviously you're gonna move more air and gonna move a lot more bass if in an enclosed cabinet like this and 4 speakers than with a smaller 1x12. I think a 4x12 sounds a lot more open. I mean, you can listen to impulse responses, for instance. Usually when you compare like a 1x12 impulse response to a 4x12 impulse response, you can hear that the 1x12 is usually very closed in. It almost sounds like it's in a can somehow. There's a very little difference that might not be the end of the world in a mix. Obviously, you might not hear the difference in a mix, but if you're sitting around playing, you can definitely hear a difference. And also the good thing about having a 4x12 is that you can mic so many different speaker combinations with different microphones and all of that. So, I mean, there's just more options in general. Thank you. Metal Bass 10,000. You never mentioned Soilwork when discussing Swedish metal and melodic death bands. Why is this? Their former drummer Dirk Verburen, who is now in Megadeth, in my view, is the top drummer out there. Are you at all familiar with his drumming? I think the reason why I'm not talking about Soilwork is that it's just one of those bands that I kind of like take for granted that they are awesome. And you know, it's like, I'm not listening frequently to them, but whenever I do, I know it's awesome, good music. Dirk Verburen is obviously an insane drummer, and I've actually seen him up close. I saw him doing a clinic up in northern Sweden a couple of years back, and he's just really good. And I also saw him now with Megadeth this past spring, obviously. He's definitely a powerhouse of a drummer for sure. Mybe Crow, hey Ola de Legenda. Wondering if you have advice for bands where one person is carrying the whole band on his back. Should that person dump the rest and seek like-minded individuals, or entice the current bunch to contribute more? Kind of sad they don't do it of their own volition. Asking for a friend, of course. Love everything you do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So the short answer is yes, you probably should leave them and find people that are pulling an equal amount of weight surrounding everything regarding the band. Look at it like this. Okay, if you're the only guy doing anything with the band, that's just one person, it could probably get you somewhere. But what if you had 5 people in the band that all pull their own weight in different fields? I mean, maybe someone is doing the social media, maybe someone's doing the websites, there's one guy who's constantly pushing out music or whatever. I mean, the efficiency of having 5 people versus just 1 people, you're just gonna get a lot more shit done. I mean, you can try and ask your bandmates to contribute more, but sometimes it's also, you know, when you feel like you're the owner of everything regarding the band, maybe you also have to kind of, you know, let them in. You know, be a part of the band more. And maybe that will motivate them to, you know, contribute more. Just saying. I mean, there's a fine line there. Like, how much control do you want versus, you know, can you trust these guys to do what you want and do it in a professional way. I think a very, very good example of a band like this is probably Periphery, where everyone in the band basically contributes in their own separate ways and they're doing separate businesses and all that. It's a really good set of cogwheels, you know, and it becomes a very strong powerhouse of a band, you know, that's just everywhere all the time. And I think it's a very good strategy right there. So there you go, thank you. Rodrigo Betancourt, greetings from Brazil. Hi Ola, since I believe to have a great YouTube channel like yours must probably be time consuming and a lot of work to do. Tells us, do you do everything by yourself or do you have a Ola crew? Can you tell us about that? Keep it metal. Okay, so regarding this, like what I'm doing here at my office, you know, with videos and all of that, it's basically just me at this point. I'm very, very lucky that I have Louise now because she can take care of like orders and, you know, photographing solar guitars and, you know, administration regarding everything I do. So I can concentrate on making the videos. But so far, I am still filming everything myself. I am editing everything myself. However, I am kind of, you know, trying to outsource the editing a little bit, but it's hard, man. It's really, really hard because the editing part is so personal. The editing is what I feel might be the most important aspect of all my videos because that gives it my personal touch. So, but other than that, you know, I do everything myself. And on top of that, I also have, you know, the day-to-day business with solar guitars and all of my other bullshit that's happening. And somewhere in between there, when I have time, I'm trying to write music as well. I do have a lot on my plate, and I think the next step that I might be able to outsource might actually be the editing. And I'm trying a little bit now, we'll just see how it goes. So yeah, it's basically just me and Louise. And you know, I do the thumbnails even, I do basically everything. I do have a problem letting go. Hey, you know, I like to be in control of what I do. So there you go. Good luck with your channel, buddy. Lucas Mastropaska. Hi, Ola. I've been a fan and subscriber for quite a while, and even though I'm sure you've talked about this before, I was wondering if you have your own personal impulse responses that you use available to purchase or download somewhere. I'm starting to venture into the world of IRs, but there are so many to choose from. I'm getting option paralysis. Thanks for doing what you do. You're the greatest. Stay safe and be well. Thank you. So I do have a couple of impulse responses, and in some of the videos where I've explained an impulse response or even made impulse responses, I think there are impulse responses to download there. But then again, I also have my personal ones that I'm not selling them, but my YouTube members can get them. So if you become a YouTube member, you will have access to all my impulses, and there's some really, really good ones in there. And if you become a member, be sure to you know, hit me up on Discord. And you know, I'm sitting there in voice chat every day, so you can talk to me if you want. Just not me, all the other awesome members in there. Wrong Gold. Hey Ola, I know you're using Logic Pro and UA Aero, but are you going to check out the new DAW Luna from Universal Audio? Awesome content, love the FAQ, love the vibe, keep rocking. Thank you. Yes, I've seen Luna, and while it looks very, very awesome, I've been using Logic for so long. There's really nothing broken with Logic, so I don't really see a reason why I should switch a DAW at this point. And I'm positive Luna is going to be a great DAW, but I mean, a DAW is a DAW. It's all about the workflow, man, and I'm having a really good workflow in Logic and Final Cut Pro, for instance, so I don't see a reason to change. There you go. Bad Blood 44. Ola, is it too late for me to be any good? I'm 52, been listening and loving Mel for decades, and during this silly pandemic, made a commitment to myself to get better at the guitar. I work full time, and it is tough to get in more than an hour of practice a day, but I try. Your style and sound would be the one I love most to emulate. It resonates with me. I even ordered a Solar V2.7. That should do it, right? Any hints on what online lessons teachers to look at? A V2.7 will definitely get you on the way. Let's just say that. To get into my type of playing, maybe I wouldn't go to like a super shredder lesson guy for this. I would probably just sit around and try to play some good old metal albums, man, and try and play along with them, like, you know, Pantera and Metallica. Metallica is actually a really good starting point if you want to learn some really sick-ass simple riffs, but just really satisfying to play. If you want something simpler, the Black Album has a lot of like epic riffs on it. If you want something harder, maybe Master Puppets or something like that. I mean, it's very straightforward, not super advanced, but it's fun to play, and you know, it's good practice. That's what I would have done if I wanted to, you know, bring up my metal chops at least. You know, just play the riff that you like from the songs that you like, and then maybe you can get some lessons to work up your alternate picking and stuff like that. You can get that from a guy like John Bjork, for instance. You know, the guy that I have as a teacher, and we've also done a couple of videos together. He's an excellent guy if you want to work on technique and doing it right from the start. John Bjork is the man. But just for riffing out, I would just riff out, to the music. And dude, 52. Who the cares about age anyways? As long as you're having fun, who the cares if you're 52 or 65 or 87? Have a good time, man. Good luck, buddy. Gus Wright, when you film videos like this, are you plugged into an amp or are you using an amp sim? So when I'm doing like the FAQs and the Sunday with Olas, I like to keep it as simple as possible. So right now, all I am using is just a cable into my audio interface. And then I'm using a plugin, basically, and that's it. And for the past year, I guess ever since it got released, I've been using the Plini plugin from Neural DSP. It gives me a quick, good sound, cleans, lead, rhythm, and I mean, it's just simple to plug in rather than just, okay, I have to use this amplifier, mic it up, and get a good tone going and all that. It's just a really simple way for me to plug in and get going quickly, because that's what my whole YouTube life is about. I need to get going quick and not waste that much time. So Neural DSP Plini, okay. Henrik Funk, my question for you, my cute sire, is if this whole Corona shit is over and so in the future and you're touring again, maybe, how does it comes for you to have a short chat with fans after show or shit at all? Because I mean, there are in some ways strict timeline for changing band gear after gig and the packing time and shit. So do you take your time for the fans to have a small conversation at all? That's a great question, and it really depends on the situation. I try my best to go out and, stand in the merch booth and talk to people and, let people take pictures with me and whatnot. But a lot of times when we're out playing, we're on a pretty tight schedule and usually there's not enough time. Usually we just go to the hotel or we go to the next venue or whatever just after the gig. So for the few shows that we do actually have time, I am actually spending time after the show. Just right after the show, I like to have a little break, maybe sip a beer or something like that, just chill a little bit, and then I go out to the merch booth or, go outside or just to say hi to people that are waiting. For me, this is very important because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. So the support that the fans are giving is just so important for me because, that's what built me, basically. So there you go. And that, my friends, was the last question for this FAQ. If you have any questions, please post them in the comment section of this video and I might feature you in the next FAQ 144. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. If you want those impulse responses, go click join down there. Join the Discord, man. I'm on there talking. You can go talk to me and ask me questions in personal if you want. So there you go. Guys, thank you so much for watching and see you next time.